First of all, Shivam, just want to say again, big thank you today for coming over. I know you're a busy man. I really appreciate you spending this quality time with me today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really excited for this session. Let's see how it goes.
Thank you. Thank you. LinkedIn is a great place to connect with people. That's a tip for the people who want to connect with the people like yourself. Go to LinkedIn, man. There's a lot of great professionals in the space industry hanging there around.
Definitely, definitely. Like LinkedIn is one platform from where actually I started my, all opportunities which I got for speaking and stuff. It was all due to LinkedIn. So yeah, thanks to the maker of.
There you go. Thanks, LinkedIn. So look, again, the title is quite big and the name is awesome. CEO of Spaceonova. So can you talk about what that is? What is the project? What you're currently working on right now?
Basically, Spaceonova is currently working on, two parts. We are trying to create a set of online and offline services and a community. So starting from the online and offline services, what we are focusing upon is that no matter who you are, what you do, if you come and tell us that, hey there, Shivam, this is the field of space science which we are interested in, and this is the level of expertise we want to gain, and this is our dream for that, we should be able to provide you that guidance and support in the same. So suppose tomorrow, if you come and tell me, "Hey, Shivam, I'm very much interested in biology, and currently I want to kickstart my career in that." So what we'll do is we'll try to find out your current background. We'll try to see which program will best suit you, and we'll try to suggest you a path so that you can at least get an internship in fields related to astrobiology, because that's where you kickstart your career, you take your first step. So that's what we are currently focused upon in creating these services, and that personalized path for everybody as much as possible. And the another part is creating the community. So we do have awesome global communities out there, even from USA and even in India. But the thing is that when it comes to remote side of India, the villages, the various languages, we literally have more than 1,000, languages which we can speak,
Wow.
right, in India. So to be able to reach out to these people, it is very important that we create a community, a global community, but which is within the reach of all. So that is another part which we are focusing upon. So instead of creating communities directly on an international level, what we are trying to do is trying to create various chapters and guilds
Yep.
all across India, a small guilds city-wise, and then connecting them to the upper level so that we'll have a community which will be within the reach of each and everybody. So suppose if someone is at their home and that person is very small, or just want to change their career or in space or whatever, they can just at least take a phone and call to the local head and say, hey there, this is what I'm interested in, can you please help me? So we want them to head in that manner.
Gotcha. So, I mean, how do you come across those people? So, do they reach out to you, as you just gave an example, and how much of the feedback, of the same feedback? Well, I'm looking to learn about astrophysics. I'm looking to learn, like, how many people have to say that for you to implement that as part of the services?
Yeah. So what we do is currently, because we are in the early stage right now.
Mhm.
So what we are doing is we are targeting the colleges or the cities which are currently active in. So suppose there is one of the city in India, Kolkata, right? So what we have done is we have identified a group of students who are very much active in the field of space sciences, and they know a lot of people in their city who would be very much interested, and if given opportunity can perform well. So we try to train these 2 to 5 students, and then we establish a guild. So for example, here's Spaceonova Kolkata guild, and now these 5 students will form and invite various volunteers, like they can be of any numbers, if starting from 10 to 200, any much, right? So we will try they will try to take some members from each and every colleges of that city, so that we have the diversity. These college people will then try to promote it among their colleges, or they will try to target the schools or underprivileged students where they are needed. So it is like a network. Slowly each city has different requirements, they have different expertise, and accordingly we try to cater that. So currently it's a slow process, but once we get the blueprint, like what is the behavior of people, how do they behave to a certain situation, once we are able to document that, we will take it in a very fast manner in coming years. So we hope that we will be able to reach that.
Gotcha. What about the current services? Which one of those do you have the majority of the people taking part, like the top two, like top three? Where do people go
So
and what they want to learn about?
our best services right now are our master classes and training programs. So, what Spaceonova focuses upon is like four stuff. That is to provide us services or anything in a manner that we should be solving any one of these or all of these outcomes. That is learn, create, innovate, and impact. Learn means they should be able to learn anything in a fun manner. Create like project-based learnings. Innovate like as now they have learned that subject, they are able to do the project-based learning. Now they should be able to identify the problem in that given industry and in that given field and try to think of its solution. And impact is now you know the solution, you have an idea to actually scale it up and create an impact. So our master classes and training programs are very much useful for these things. So in the masterclass, we try to focus upon the learn stuff more, that they should be able to learn anything in a very fun manner. They should have an intermediate knowledge and they should get inspired to learn more. They should have the basic tools and requirements so that after the masterclass, they can even go on and learn the advanced stuff themselves. Whereas training programs are usually a month long or more than a month long journey where we not only teach them stuff, we make them do hands-on practical stuff. We, have a one-on-one mentorship. We try to invite some industry experts in that field and then make them interact with that. So training programs are very holistic in nature and it goes for a longer period. So that by end of the training program, they would be even, ready to deliver this knowledge to others, like that much ready they would be. And they do a lot of projects. They, be in a team and do all that stuff. So it's like you could share, just like we learn in university and colleges, we try to attend the degree, we do a lot of stuff, right? But it's like a more faster way to attain all these things and in a more interesting manner in training programs.
Okay, got you. And what about these programs? Like, who does the put those programs together? Have you decided? I mean, do you duplicate universities, some other organizations when it comes to, let's say, picking one of the subjects, let's space on master or workshops, Sheldon program, like webinar space camp? Like, how does the programs look like? Do you come with those ideas when you plan those services together yourself, or you try to duplicate what agencies are working on? How does the process look like?
So what we do is, because we recognize that space doesn't have only one field and not everyone is aware of all the fields, first of all.
Yep.
So we have different departments for each field. So we have one department for astrobiology, one for astronomy and astrophysics, another for aerospace further divided into rockets and satellites. So such sort of departments we have. And in each department, we have educators and innovators. So educators focus on content development, they focus on science communication. So it's their department and they will do everything related to that. And I am the person who actually goes through each and everything. And if whatever expertise I have, I teach it myself. So when it comes to rocket science, I teach it myself, and also the IoT and embedded systems. But when it comes to, for example, astrobiology, there is my friend Shubhrajit Barua who teaches the astrobiology part. So that's what we do. We design the content ourselves. Then we also take feedbacks from the experts. So we have several mentors on board who give us feedbacks. So to name a few, we have Shreya Shantra, Joshi Yogesh Kumar. So these guys, they give feedbacks on our masterclasses and training programs, or whatever help we need, we seek from them. And once we feel, yeah, this is ready to go, we then deliver this thing to our own teammates itself. And if they also feel that it is great enough, then we launch it to the audience outside.
Gotcha. So after people go through the training, these workshops or whatever form, of service that might be, do they get some sort of a certification, and how far that certification can take them? Let's say if somebody wants to work for an agency or, private company, is that possible with that type of certification to go and show them already did the workshop, or that's enough, or what will be maybe the next step after?
Yeah. So see, we do give out certificates, but we believe that certificates at the end, they are piece of paper, and its value will just depend upon how much is the brand value of our organization, right? So maybe someone recognizes us, they would be like, oh, this is Spaceonova certificate. And maybe someone doesn't recognize us and they would be like, who are they? Right. So instead of just focusing upon that, certificate is just a validation that yes, this guy has done this all things and they have, have this knowledge. But what we focus upon is developing their own knowledge and networking skills also. So the great thing about our programs is we not only teach them the technical stuff, we also teach them that how to network, how to use the platform like LinkedIn, and how to do cold emailing and stuff like that,
Wow.
so that they themselves would be fulfilled enough, they would be complete in themselves to be able to grab that opportunity. And also, if suppose we ourselves are expert in that field and we can give them that internship opportunity, so that's what we start with them. So suppose after our training program, we feel these 2 to 3 students are very much interested in research, and we currently are having a research group in that particular field, we invite them for that. And once they go through that, our like experiences usually exceptional. So those who go through our programs, they usually come back and tell us, hey Shivam, currently we are doing this, currently we got an offer from that and stuff like that, and really makes us happy. So instead of focusing upon just the certificate, it is important, it is a proof, but we focus upon making them empowered, and making them independent enough that they can go on and do their own stuff by themselves.
Exactly. And I think this is a really right approach to go about things, and that's why I want to talk about, papers, as we talked about, certificates, you achieve this. But we see it's a huge problem. There's a lot of, even PhDs, master degree, people, they're walking around with no job. So, this is the problem because, when we go to the universities or schools, we get a lot of theoretical, ideas and things of how things should work. But in practice, things are a little bit different. And having that place where you actually teach people, this is how you communicate with people on LinkedIn, email, this is what you do, this is what you say, or, any practical skills, because you guys do it, the people who put these programs do it. So I think having that practice and understanding and knowledge, what to do, how do you find those companies yourself, and how do you pitch them? So with the skills that you have, it's really important. Like, I don't know, do you want to add something to that? But
yeah, so as you mentioned, and I totally agree to that, because see what current organization which I observed, what they try to do is, I'm not demeaning anybody, but they try to increase the value of the certificate, and for that they try to collaborate with the universities,
okay.
various space agencies, and they see that we have logos of these agencies and stuff. And what I believe is, though it might be important, obviously, but more than that, what is important is you teach these people how to network, because at the end, your network is your net worth, right? And we, being outside in the industry, doing all that stuff, we know more than our certificates. It's the network which has helped us, right? Like you got to know me from the LinkedIn, and today we are having this session. It's not that, I showed you my certificate that, hey, I'm this person, come and take my interview or something, right? It's our interest which collided and mashed, and then we are here, right? So that's what we try to focus upon, that with technical knowledge, they should know all that. And we try to, with the practical outcomes, which I told you, like learn, create, innovate, and impact, there are certain psychological outcomes also, which we focus upon, like high order thinking skills, inclusiveness, fun learning, curiosity, and stuff like that. So like if you go to our website, in the about section, you will see a list of stuff which we have already mentioned. Like we have already told the world that, this is our core value proposition, and this is how we perform. Our USP is this, right? So that's it, and that's what we try to do.
That is awesome. That is really awesome. So I want to ask you a question again, because as I said, we connected via LinkedIn. Great place again. As I'm going to say that again, probably we'll say one more time for you guys, just to remind you. Really great place to connect with people. But what advice do you give to the people? Because including myself, there's a lot of people who are introverted. And of course, you can be introvert or extrovert. You can play around with that. There's not only one way. You can learn how to be both. But what would you say for those people? Because I know there's a lot of people who are really intelligent, but they're really quiet. They sit in a corner, they don't feel comfortable reaching out and talking with people, but those people could bring so much value for the company, for the industry, but they're just afraid to talk with the people. So what do you recommend?
Yeah, so for see, what do I believe is that when it comes to extrovert and introvert, I feel no matter what personality you are, there will always be some mode through which you love to communicate, right? It could be talking, it could be writing, it could be something. So I would say identify that, try to whichever part you're comfortable in, and also be open to others, because you could never be like suppose this is the session and I would be like, no brother, I just want that you interview me on writing and write a blog. I don't want to speak to you.
Yeah.
So you should be open to everything. but identify that part where you find the best way to express yourself. And so, for example, when it comes to me, though writing is important, but more than that, I like to talk, right? So I try to double down on that, and I try to develop my writing skills and try to put some posts in a week or a two. So identify in which way you try to express yourself, and double down on that, own it, become the best at it, and use that as a mode of communication. So for example, in LinkedIn, if we talk, you would see that there are many people, instead of messaging you that, hey, I want to connect with you or stuff like that, or whenever the first message which they give you, instead of writing, they try to attach videos, because that's what they are comfortable in. They attach videos, and then through the videos they talk. And that actually acts as an advantage, because when we see that person, and that person is actually talking to us, it sometimes give goosebumps, like, a stranger person is coming, and then
Not a lot of people do
that
that.
person have actually curated a video. Right.
That's awesome. This just going, it seems like, of course, those people, it's a really great perspective, because sometimes when I receive those messages, I don't think about what you said, that maybe those people are really comfortable doing video, versus me thinking about, oh man, these people are really professional. They just made this video for me, but actually they're just comfortable by doing that themselves. So can you talk about how important is collaboration? Because I see on a website, you already have some people, companies that you're collaborating with. So how important is that in the space industry, just for the people, individuals and the companies?
Yeah, so see, Spaceonova has a dream. It has a vision that by year 2025, we want to make sure that each and every child of this nation has enough guidance and support to be able to pursue careers in any field of space sciences, irrespective of their background. And to achieve that, we recognize that alone we cannot. Right, alone we cannot, reach out to each and every person, and for that, collaboration is necessary. Instead of thinking like, oh, why that organization is able to perform better, we need to understand what is their strength, what is our strength, and can we complement each other to achieve the similar vision which we have, right? So Spaceonova strongly believes in collaboration, and what we try to do is, so if you could see that there is one organization, BOSEX, so they are very good at, research in the field of astrophysics, and we are good at research in the field of astrobiology and other stuff. So we try to collaborate with each other. We try to form research groups where we invite students who are interested in research, and then we divide it accordingly. Okay, you take these people, we will take these people, and then we try to hone their skills. So collaboration is very much necessary, and it helps you achieve your goals faster. Like suppose it's not that alone we cannot reach to each and every other person, but that might even take 10 to 20 years, right? And but when we collaborate, we might be able to do it even in 3 years, right? So that's the power of collaboration. We'll be able to achieve our impact, and which is our main objective. We started to achieve that impact, to achieve that goal, not to just be like, here, there, this is me doing that, right? So it's important that we are able to create that impact.
Gotcha. And what is the vision for Spaceonova till 2025? Why that date is important, 2025? What's going to happen?
Yeah, so, if we say in one line, our vision is to enable literally anybody to be a space technologist. So no matter who you are, what you do, we should be able to help you. But the year 2025, why we have done this is because, as you would have known, even when we do school projects, if you don't give yourself a time limit, a deadline, you will take all the time to complete that project, right? Yeah. So this vision 2025 is our first step. So we have a lot bigger vision, but we have given this 5 years of our of time to ourselves to complete this part of our bigger vision. And in the next 5 years, we will again have a 5 years plan. And then it will be vision to 2030, and then we will do something else, and so on it will go. So this is like a barrier for us, that by 2025, we have to make sure that we are able to achieve these targets. And then in the next 5 years, we'll go on and advance on other steps.
Gotcha. So again, the topics in the space industry, because I know you have a great place that people can go to, the blog section of the website. By the way, and I recognize the font. It looks, I opened up, was like, is this New York Times? What's happening here? So I love that. It's very appealing, very engaging. So what do you think is, because when it comes to doing research, and of course you have a team of people who curate these blog posts based on their own personal biases or whatever they personally passionate about. So what do you think is the right approach to communicate the science? Because the thing is that we see a lot of the new Facebook groups, Instagram posts, like accounts, like social media is a big place where, a lot of that message is being, projected. And
Hmm.
not a lot of people do that in the right manner, because I see a lot of posts, they're just not real, like for instance, the
Yeah.
image that somebody posted on Mars or Perseverance landing, and there was this showing basically night sky with the Milky Way. It was so bright. It was like, and people, it was like 3,000 likes, 3,000 likes. So there's a lot of people bought it. Everybody's commenting like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. I want to see that. And this is like, it's a fake photo. So, like a lot
Yeah.
of that is being done, but I'm not talking about your blog post, but the question is, how can we project the right message in a right way and let people know, that's important versus that thing that's happening?
Yeah. So see, it's always that we always have a good side and a bad side to anything, right? We do know that Earth, it's not a flat thing, but still we have a whole society
Yeah.
believing on that part, right?
Yeah.
So that's actually mind-boggling sometimes. Like, one of my team members, that person said, my life's aim is to prove these guys, to convert these guys in believing in science and not whatever other thing they believe
Yeah.
in. So what I believe is, we cannot just go and stop others to post what they are doing, but we can increase the frequency of the right content so much that, the degree of the wrong stuff which are, being posted, they are very less, right? And making people aware of that, giving them that curiosity to ask questions instead of accepting stuff like that, to ask questions, have that scientific temperament to approach stuff in a certain manner. So, what we really try to do through our initiatives is, like, if we identify that something is going wrong or something like that, and if someone strongly believe in that, we really invite them for a open, discussion, and if they want to have a debate, so that, we can actually approach it and come to a conclusion. Or through our social media posts, we try to bring out all sort of informations. But obviously, as you mentioned, that there are a lot of other stuffs which, it looks great because it has a
Yeah.
glimmer, and the people who are not from this background, they tend to believe in it. And the only thing we guys as an educator which we can do is to make ourselves more interesting, make those stuff more interesting, come out with different methods, and to approach that stuff. So recently, just as you mentioned, there was one video, like, it is just an animation. You might have observed that, what if moon was very close to earth, and how it will rise and cover the sun, and then again it will set. And people were circulating that video on WhatsApp stories. I thought maybe they are doing it for fun. Like, I literally did not believe that they're actually believing it, right? I thought they're doing it for fun. But then one of her mentors, she took to her story, and she said, guys, it's fake news, it's fake stuff, don't believe in it. And I was like, uh, I thought they were just doing it for fun. But then I realized, oh my God, like, the mentor said that there were 7 to 10 of people each day, they approached her asking that, is it true and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, like, there are stuff which we as an educator think that people are not going to believe it,
Yeah.
but they still do. And recently we decided that we will double down on the content which we are posting, not like the amount of the quantity,
Mhm.
but in a way which could be like myth busting. So we thought we'll form a separate group which would be like a myth busting police sort of, and we will identify such fake content and fake informations out there, and we'll try to make a post out of it to tell people, see guys, this is how the reality is and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's a process. It's just like, suppose if you have a glass of water and it has a muddy water, right? uh,
Yeah.
if you try to remove the mud water just by your hand, only your hands is going to get dirty. But the best way, take the fresh water, pour it in the glass, keep pouring it until and unless those muddy water goes out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the only way is we try to double down on our good stuff, so that that comes as a more highlight rather than the stuff which are fake.
Yeah, exactly. Because we cannot speed this process up, of course, as you talk about, just, maximizing the efforts, building that community so they can continue to spread the message themselves, share the content. But, I do understand with the social media, the fake news, the fun news, the scary news, they spread faster than the right news. And that's why a lot of people, they want to be, again, influencers, even in the space industry. And that's why they know they have to post probably fake or content just for engagement, because they want the likes. That's what the influencers do, right? They're there for
Yeah.
the likes. So, but of course, there are people just like yourself, who are communicating science, and of course, it's a slower process and it's a slower path, but it's the right way to go about things. Because it could be really confusing, as you told the story for some people, what's happening.
Definitely.
So,
And like as you mentioned about the process, definitely it tends to be slow, but that's where your earlier point comes in, collaboration.
yeah.
And if we collaborate, that process can become fast, and we can reach out to more people at shorter span of time.
So who are you looking to collaborate? Like potentially best case scenario, like who would be your ideal partner?
I would say like that depends upon the initiative. Like suppose for if it is a masterclass, astrobiology masterclass, we'll try to collaborate with small student organizations who are interested in that. So suppose if in a college there are people who are working on rovers, or they're working on something related to biotechnology, we'll try to collaborate with those student organizations and tell them about that. And if suppose if it is a research initiative, then we'll try to collaborate with other research groups who can complement us. And that totally depends upon the initiative. And yeah, like people do think that, they're like, okay, you are a space company, you should collaborate with NASA, you should collaborate with ISRO, you should collaborate with Japan Space Agency. I'm like, I might collaborate with the people who are in it rather than the organization, because those are the guys whom I need it and not the organization itself. Right. And currently we are having a space science challenge. It is India's first ever space science challenge. And there we have judges from Japan Space Agency, from ISRO and stuff like that. So, that's the example that we are collaborating with the people and not the organization, because obviously their brand can add some value to our initiative.
Yep.
But the thing is, even more than that, we need to, make sure that the learning has been passed down, because there are people who are trying to collaborate with the brands and then promoting, which is important. I support them because that spreads awareness. But every organization has a different focus, and our focus is not just the awareness, but actually helping these people to pursue careers.
Yep.
And for that, we try to focus on the people and that age group more.
Exactly, because you can post content and get a lot of people motivated, but what you're gonna do with that motivation? You're gonna walk around and be inspired, like, oh my God, the space, there's so many things happening. Good, but be part of that, be part of the change, and become a change. Again, innovation, and we need so many more people, as I say, all the time here on the show, because we cannot depend on NASA or ESA, JAXA, ISRO, even though we have all these hundreds of thousands of people who are working towards solving these problems, and we have private companies, and we just like Elon Musk, but he will not take us to Mars. It will be collaboration between him, NASA, other contractors. It's going to be, it's going to be multiple projects. I know, India is working on some great things as well when it comes to Mars. So can you talk about another part, again, Australasian Dark Sky Alliance community? Can you talk about that? Because I know that through that, you do some very interesting stuff there too.
Yeah. So basically this, and thanks to social media for that, because through that only I came to know about it. And basically, one of the profiles, Icragram, it's one of the, radio astronomy organization of Australia. So they posted about this initiative that there is an organization, Australasian Dark Sky Alliance, and it has been supported by the Australian government. They are taking an initiative to spread awareness about the impact of light pollution, on the society and the astronomical stuff and etc. And for that, they come up with an amazing idea, and they aim for a Guinness World Record. And what they did was, like in this process, what we did was, we after participating, we went through learning a short lesson on environmental sustainability. And after that, what we had to do is, at the night time of our own place, we had to map our night sky, and note down how it is and observe that, and then submit those data points through a web app. And through those information, this organization was able to, like, plot the whole map of this world, like, like how it is, how it looks like and stuff. So obviously, as it was an Australia initiative of an organization from Australia, so more number of people were participating from there. But we were lucky enough from India and other people who got that. So around 10,000 people participated in that. Out of that, only 4,283 people were actually able to submit a valid data point and complete the lesson and stuff. So this whole process itself created a Guinness World Record that, 4,283 people from all over the world within 24 hours span of time were able to, go through this environmental sustainability lesson. And that thing created the buzz, it created the world record. And more than even the world record, what was important is that through this record, we were able to, get a chance to talk people about the importance of light pollution and stuff like that. So it was a very interesting initiative to spread the awareness about it. I really like this idea. And it's quite simple. Like, people, when they think about Guinness World Record, they feel, we have to do something very different. We have to do something very difficult to achieve that. And here they were. So as they had, they took this initiative. So usually people believe that to create a Guinness World Record, you have to do something very different, something very unique, something very difficult. But this was an interesting idea that, one person from various places, different places, people are coming together and they are doing this. And obviously, because of this, each and every person is a Guinness World Record holder, but it's a collective, initiative, and it has been done by ADC, and really thanks to them. And I really love this idea. And after this, we were actually planning that in maybe future, maybe after 3 to 5 years, when Spaceonova has a good audience, and whatever this awareness which we would love to spread out there, this could be a great way to do this. And I really love this idea. I was never aware that, you can even create record in this manner and use this thing to spread awareness. And I really love that part of ADS.
That is awesome. Just the fact that it's a world record for that. Again, 4,283 people,
Yeah.
was it, in that event. So that's incredible. Can you talk about, again, the topic, the light pollution and the effect on the environment? Because this is a subject that, I talk with a lot of guests on my show. So, but, effect on the environment, like, can you, talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, so when we talk about environment specifically, so we already know that there are various sort of tortoises, the species or the birds who are very much dependent upon the light source which they are following and stuff like that. But when we talk about the night environment which we human we have beings have created, because these lights, they are not controlled, like its exposure is not controlled. It's like literally illuminating everything, and some of part is like literally going upside. So if you see the lamp at many places, the lamp won't be focusing below, because that's where we need the light. It would be just like normal, it would be standing, and the light is spreading everywhere, like like just like sun is spreading the light everywhere. This lamp is trying to be like sun. But the problem with this is that it changes the environment, it changes the surroundings. For us, it could be normal, though it affects human beings also. We don't know, it affects human beings also. It affects the sleep schedule and everything, and etc etc. But it does affects other species a lot. So there's one, I don't know the name of the species exactly. There's a sort of a tortoise or turtle, you could say. So basically, they try to follow lights during their some sort of maybe reproduction process or something like that. I don't know the name exactly, so I won't be going into the details. But basically, what I want to highlight is that they are dependent upon the light source for that activity of their life. And due to us people, due to human beings, that gets deviated, that gets diverted, and they, tend to get lost. So I'm not aware of the exact information, the species and the activity. I have kind of forgotten about that. But this is one thing. And we already know about the birds and stuff, like how the migratory birds and these they get affected. And also, if we talk about human beings, the problem is, until and unless we don't suffer, we don't get sensitive to that, right? But we need to understand that all that light which are coming from outside, it affects our sleep pattern, it affects our own health also. It's just we have a longer span of living, and we are not able to recognize the impact of this thing on us. So it's very important to control that exposure, and then be sensitive to what sort of living organisms are we surrounded in that area, and accordingly plan the city. So I really believe the city planners who are there outside, and or the authorities or the government officials, who have this power, they should also, be forced to, or you could say they should adopt a policy where they are aware of the various species and the organisms in their region, and then they plan the city according to that so that they can even accommodate them, and these living beings are not harmed. So that's very important.
It is very important. I'm just looking at the article here while we're talking as well, because I think this is a very interesting topic. And you guys and girls, again, who are listening or watching this episode, if you just type it in, turtle following light or something, you're gonna find all these different articles that how artificial light attracts them to hatch from eggs too soon, and they just, get, you probably die in that process because they, it's still a nighttime. So whatever. So, but, light pollution is a big, big problem. And again, astrophotographers talk about that. Once they're trying to capture all these beautiful galaxies, nebulas, and astronomers or just people in general, because I know the number, I don't know the exact number, but I know it's going to be in probably 90% of the people who never seen a Milky Way before. They never see the edge of the galaxy. And of course, I was privileged because I used to go to my grandma's place when she was, there. And I used to see that in the night sky, and because they used to turn off the lights. And not because, oh, look at the sky, because the village was trying to save money on electricity, pretty much. But I had the access to that. I remember we used to see satellites all the time passing by thinking this is UFO, when you're like 8, oh my God, what's that? And then you read about that. But, it's a great thing to have, I think. But how can we, what will be the solution like, and how it would look like? Again, with you having this conversation, being part of the organization, what conclusions have you came with? Because part of that solution, okay, turn the lights off, let's enjoy the night sky. There could be drastic increase into crime rates. So how do you find the middle in that situation?
Yeah, so ADSA, they're like, they have their own set of stuff which they're trying to do. And, they're trying to actually form a policy which they try to propose to government, and, ask them to adopt that and stuff. So we, being at the other side of this planet, being from India, what we try to do is we take the inspiration from such organizations, and then we try to see what are the stuff which we can do as an individual and how we can take those steps. Right. So one thing which I told you that, we could be aware of the various organisms and living beings who are around us. And then if the concerned authority and concerned people, if they are able to, adopt a policy where they actually list down and try to identify on a regular basis that what are the various sort of, living organisms are there. And then they try to, be sensitive to that also. That is very much important. So currently, you could say, like, as from Spaceonova, we are not directly in contact with the government or something like that. It's quite difficult here right now, and to convince them. But what we try to do right now is whoever the people, the young generation who interact with us, we try to, aware them about this stuff. And then we are planning that once we are at a certain stage, we get, after few years, when we have the enough resources, we will also start, just like we have departments for astronomy, astrophysics, and other stuff. We'll also try to have a group where we can think of various policies, how to write policies and stuff like that, because that's the inspiration which we have taken from ADSA, that not just spreading the awareness, they're using those data and statistic to actually list down the policies and then to propose that. And I really love that. I really take, so just like in the field of space sciences, we are trying to focus on career, which is like they actually take that first step. Same way they're actually trying to draft policies and stuff like that. So obviously I'm not aware about what Australian government is doing and all that stuff, but in this small span of interaction which I had with ADSA, these were some of the inspirations which I drew for them. And I feel the best solutions which we can go for right now is talking to the authorities, and then asking them to at least be aware of what species are around them. You don't be aware of what's going on in the world. That's completely fine. You need not be aware of that. You need not take that burden. But if suppose you are, I don't know, what do we call it in USA? Maybe some city planner or something. But for example, when it comes to India, there are IAS officers and who take, who, manage one district and stuff. So if we have some way to interact with these guys and make them more sensitive about this field and ask them to adopt a policy where they list down. I think that would be great. And we already have one connection with one of the IS, by the way, but we haven't proposed it yet because they're very busy people. But we're trying to think that one day we'll also, when we are ready from our side, we have a draft, a policy. We'll try to propose that to them, and then let's see that how it goes and stuff like that.
That is great. I mean, somebody has to tackle these problems, and I talk with the people who are, of course, planning to put projects together and work towards that, because this is a slow process. Because once you have to get politics involved, it's going to be very slow and tedious. It's going to be like, oh my god, like my head hurts. But like we have to solve these problems for the animal species. To take care of that, and just to it's a huge problem again for the people who want to explore the space, or just to enjoy the good night's sleep, if that's the case. So this is something. But when it comes to policies, rules, regulations, yourself, the space law is outdated. We need to work on that. Again, this like light pollution is another thing. So yeah, but again, at least the process is slow, as we're saying, but we're going the right way about things, right? We're going the right way.
Definitely.
So can you talk about, again, another record that you have? I think this is really fascinating. I never met anybody before who have this record close to you. 44 preliminary discoveries of asteroids. What's happening here?
Yeah, so I think you might be aware of International Astronomical Search Collaboration, IAC. So it's one of the program under NASA's planetary defense stuff. So if you go to the website, I will share the links with you. So IAC collaborates with various local organizations and stuff who runs asteroid search campaigns. So currently, Spaceonova also, we recently organized a national Spaceonova Asteroid Search Campaign. So Spaceonova recently conducted National Spaceonova Asteroid Search Campaign, under which we invited 10 teams, and in each team there were 4 members. So what we do is we try to teach them the process, that how to discover an asteroid, and then they go on to do that. So to explain the whole process in brief, what really happens is IAC has collaborations with various observatories like the Pan-STARRS, the Catalina Sky Survey, and etc. etc. So these guys take the deep space images and stuff like that. So that burden is removed from our side. They take the deep space images, and because it's a citizen science program, they make these images available to all these organizations who are in collaboration with ISC, right? So we get these data sets from ISC on a regular basis whenever we are running a campaign. And then there is a software called as Astrometrica, which you might be aware of. So in this Astrometrica, we have a whole process of identifying asteroids. It's basically a deep space image, and we have taken one side of basically one area of the sky at certain intervals, and then there are 5 characteristics through which we try to observe identify that whether this moving object is an asteroid or what is it. So to mention those characteristics, the first thing which we try to identify is that obviously it should be moving on a linear path, right? Because if you observe from our perspective, it would come like a linear path and not something like a circle. We cannot, because that orbit is long. We won't see the whole orbit sitting and standing and observing the sky from one point, right? So it should be having a linear motion. And the second thing which we try to identify is that the object, the image which we get, it comes in 4 image sets, right? So it should be visible in at least 3 of the image sets out of 4. Ideally, it should be on all 4, but even if suppose in one of the image it is not visible, it should be visible at least in the 3, right? Then we try to, through the Astrometrica software, we click on the object and we try to see the Gaussian curve, right? So there is a set example, the Gaussian curve should be in that certain manner. Then we try to check the sound to noise ratio. It should be ideally be above 5. And then we also try to check the R magnitude. So in all the 4 images, if we click on them one by one on the object, we get this data because it's a FITS file, right? So we get this data, and we try to observe the R magnitude. It should be in the variation of ±1. So if all these characteristics are fulfilled, it is a potentially good candidate for being an asteroids. Then what do we do is we give them a temporary name, we make a report, and we submit it to ISC. and then ISC further goes on to verifying the same. And if it verifies, if it is correct, then that becomes the first original discovery of an asteroid, which is called as the preliminary discovery. And then we need to wait for the second observation, because then ISC then sends this data again to the observatories, and they try to respot this asteroid, right, which we have discovered. So it is an original discovery of an asteroid. But how would we know which asteroid? Because we identified it only once. We need to re-identify it. We need to respot it. If we are able to do that, then it becomes a provisional discovery. And for this to happen, it takes a certain amount of time. By the time the students get to know they have made a provisional discovery, it sometimes takes up to 1 year, right? So but they try to respot this asteroid within like 7 to 10 days and stuff like that. And if they're able to do that, then congratulations, it will become a provisional discovery. If not, though you have made an original discovery of asteroid, the sad part is we don't know where is it right now. Okay, so it doesn't become a provisional discovery. And then this third stage is that this provisional discovery, now because we have identified it 2 times, we can track it. We can now track it. So then what we do is, and this data is actually stored in like JPL also. So then we try to track it, and in the span of 3 to 7 years, we track its whole orbit, right? And that student, they don't have to do this. They have to just discover the asteroid, and then the organization takes care of everything.
Yep.
They track the whole orbit of that asteroid. And if they are able to do that, then the third level is it becomes a number discovery. Like, it is final. You have the whole information of the orbit, the asteroid is there, and then it's become a number discovery, and it is mentioned in the Hall of Fame of IAC website, right? So it is in several stages. Uh, Preliminary discovery is easy. You have to give certain hours. You are at least the campaign is of at least 1 month, so you need to dedicate yourself for 1 month, and you can make some preliminary discoveries. And but when it comes to provisional and numbered, it's all on luck, because if we are able to respot it again or not, that's totally not in our hands, right? So that's a part where you have to just cross your fingers and wait. And the probability to respot it and then also get the number discovery, it is very less. Well, one reason is it takes a lot of time, and ISC has a lot of inputs from all over the world to respot so many preliminary discoveries, right? And it's a long process. And obviously when you have so many things and so many discoveries coming from all over the world, you might miss some or stuff like that. So it's like preliminary discovery is easy, but provisional takes time. And I will give an idea. When I first initiated 5 teams, and that time even I was participating, obviously. So together these 5 teams, like some discovered 30, some discovered 20. So together combined, they discovered 103 asteroids, original discovery, so 103 preliminary discoveries. But after 1 year, when we finally got the list of provisional discoveries, out of 103, only 2 were provisional.
Having those organizations who give access, which again, for a lot of people, especially probably younger people, or even older people, doesn't matter. It's really exciting, to found the object, which again, at the end of the day, if that's approved, they do the second, research, and that's going to clarify that this is the object. So do you have to, can you actually pick your name that you want to name it, or that's up to them to decide what you want to call it?
Yeah. So in the preliminary discovery, you do get a certificate from the NASA and the organization which they have collaborated with. And for the provisional discovery, you will again get a certificate. And if it becomes a number discovery, you do get a chance to name it, but it's not like you give a certain name and that's it. So that there is a certain format in which the name is given. So you do get a chance to give your inputs, and then accordingly they get a name. So I'm not sure whether if you say that call it a cat and they will just call it cat. I think they will give some numbers like some 1, 2, 3 something cat 029A, something like that. So that is a format which they have, and accordingly the name is given. So obviously I wasn't lucky enough to have a number discovery yet, because that will still take a lot of time. So let's see. I will have to wait for 7 years to actually know that whether I can get one. But those who get, I think there is a certain format in which they, whatever the name they give, in that format it is included. So like a part of it, or maybe the whole name, that totally depends.
Okay, got you. So again, this is really important that we have those organizations who provide these, make those small collaborations, because this is definitely collaboration. Because again, they have their own instruments, which of course cost, hundreds and sometimes billions of dollars, the telescopes, and, you just can observe, of course, you can observe, a tremendous amount of, space, there in the sky, but, it still is just one piece of equipment. So, and how many people there are on the planet, and how many more people can take their telescopes out and look at the sky themselves and track it, or pull the data from different observatories and collaborate with other people. So this is really great. Another organization, I know, it's AFSO, where they do our variable star observations. And they're always looking for people, space enthusiasts who have telescopes or don't, because they can provide the data that you can, look to as well. So I think through those initiatives involving public to be part of those science research, because at this point, you don't need to have PhD. You don't have to have master's degree to be part of that, right? So it's for everyday people. But you can be one of those people who are going to get the CAT 1, 2, 3 name. So who knows?
Yeah, definitely. And the best part is, so this is not the like only way to discover asteroids. This is like one through which I was able to make 44 preliminary discoveries. But you can have your own telescope. You can have your own telescope, try to take deep space images, identify the asteroids, and then try to respot it yourself and do all that. And you can even go for that. Then there are other projects also, like one is growth project. I don't remember the whole details. So there are several ways, but ISC has been one of the like successful ways to collaborate and reach out to the masses, because it inspires a lot to it gives a lot of inspiration to the students. Like, just think about, you are a school or a college student, and you're actually observing a real moving object, a real asteroid out there, and you are able to identify it and discover it. So that fact itself gives them a lot of motivation. And I would say, I myself, like, when I started before Spaceonova, I started a club in my college, right? So when I started that club, that's the thing which I did. Like, I invited my club members to do this, and that got them, so stick to the club, that then they went on to do other stuff and make other achievements also. So it's a great way to inspire people, that even if you're not able to get any provisional or number discovery, you get so much attached to the field, right? So I think that that's a great way as far as search campaigns, and it is free of cost. We don't charge anything for that, and neither ISC does. Obviously, some organization do for their logistics, but otherwise it is at no cost. And I believe when we are conducting it online, we really don't have to charge for it. So it's totally free of cost. Anyone can participate. And if not through the local campaigns, you can directly email the ISC and say that, hey there, I want to participate. So they will just fit you in one of the campaigns which are active.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is really great. So on that note, on asteroids, and still, coming back to the fake news stuff, because I seen that on social media some time ago, and I want to ask you, related to asteroids. Of course, there are those newspapers and media outlets that want to scare people, because that's how you get attention. Oh my God, the asteroid is hitting our way. But once I see that, it's been like probably years back since we discovered asteroids. It's coming to us. But what about like the websites like NASA? Because I remember I saw that article. It's a famous Apophis. The asteroid Apophis with this beautiful name, scary name though. But talking about 2031. Scenario that it's not going to be going to Earth, but it's going to be the closest approach ever. So, and now you, again, being part of those 161, preliminary discoveries and having some insights, do you actually see that as a potential threat in the future, impact, asteroid impact, or that's something that we should not be worried about?
So see, the very reason that these programs are done, obviously it inspires students, but the very reason we are doing it to actually identify such threats, right? That is the main objective. We're not doing it just for fun and just for certificates, but this is actually for identifying those threats. So asteroids can be classified into several categories, and one which we really try to focus upon are the near Earth objects and the main belt asteroids, right? And through this, you would see that though people do this preliminary discoveries, but there are certain people who are, you could say, lucky enough that they sometimes identify asteroids who are classified as like very near Earth objects or were very near to Earth. Like they are not going to strike us or something, because we have great friend Jupiter, who usually takes all the stuff with him, right? But there are certain asteroids who are very close to Earth, and though in numbers it might look like a great distance, but in astronomical sense it's still very close. So talking about whether the upcoming asteroids, whether it will strike Earth or not, the best thing about any like space agency or the organizations like NASA who are doing right now is we are not just identifying the asteroids as threats and just throwing the data. We are also coming up with various missions and various ways through which that if that asteroids is might really strike Earth or might would be really close. These asteroids would be a threat to us.
Yeah.
So I was just adding to the point that the reason we are identifying such asteroids and we are trying to discover that is to identify such threats. And organizations like NASA, they're already working on various missions that if that threat really becomes a reality, how to come out of it, and how to deviate its path and stuff like that. So one thing which I could say to everybody is that not to worry about, because we human beings are really smart when it comes to survival. Like Homo sapiens have survived because of whoever we are, the type of characteristics we have. So I would be like, even if anything such that is happen does happen, that they might collide Earth, or even if not like colliding Earth, like they would just pass on through a very close distance. If they just pass on, there's nothing to worry about. But even if it is something in like a danger zone or stuff like that, we still will have various ways to deviate its path before itself. We will have such missions, and I believe like we can easily be successful in that, because at that time then it won't be the responsibility of just one organization like NASA, but it would be a collaborative effort of various organizations across the world who would come up with their best technologies to get the mission done, right? So yeah, I really believe in the technologies and stuff which human beings are developing right now.
Yeah, so hopefully that's the scenario, because I heard about and I read about a little bit the DART mission that NASA is putting together, asteroid redirect, the redirection mission. So at the same time, while we're looking to direct the trajectory of asteroids, there are those companies who are looking to mine those asteroids. That's another topic. But hopefully, because we don't have any technology, as we look all these at the sci-fi movies, and like Armageddon scenario. I don't know if that would work in the case of asteroid, if we can send people to drill the hole and nuke the asteroid. But look, we need to look at these worst case scenarios as well, and just risk mitigation in general, and how we can protect whatever we have going on here. It seems like we on a verge to creating something special, something amazing, and I would love to keep that going. I know there's companies, as I've seen on Facebook, I've seen some people who are working part of the companies sending these chips of information to the moon, and or whatever, like golden plated story with a Voyager. There's DNA, all that captured somewhere in space right now. It's great, but this is not the way I want to spread the humankind. I want the humankind to be on Mars, whatever exoplanets, just continue to spread that way. So we'll see, of course. But look, you guys again have a lot of great stuff coming up. So could you talk about future nearby events that people can be part of as well?
Yeah, so talking about like specifically like Spaceonova, the initiative which we are taking. So currently we are already having this Space Range Challenge, and like everyone is welcome from all over the world. So currently we are having two categories: rockets and satellites. So we are conducting the prelims and various slots, like 3 slots. Already 2 slots are over. Only the last slot is left, and it is tomorrow only. We are having for the rockets, and the prelim is not starting tomorrow. Tomorrow we are having a crash course, and day after tomorrow we will be having the prelims round. And after the prelims round, there are several other levels like abstract submission round, YouTube round, and then the grand finale, where they will actually get a chance to interact with the judges, which I mentioned, like Ms. Mina Konga, Devdutt Mishra, who are from Japan Space Agency and ISRO, respectively. Then we have even Athena Bernsberger with us. We also have Narayan Prasad. So all of them are our panel of judges. So you can go to ssc.spaceonova.com. That's the website dedicated to this challenge. And from there itself, they can register. So we are, this would be like their last chance actually. So through this platform, I will say that if you're really interested in participating and showing your mettle in this field of rockets and satellites, and you want to solve a great problem and present your solution in front of the judges and get an opportunity to, work on it or, form a great network, this would be your chance. Go to ssc.spaceonova.com and register yourself for this. And we would really welcome you. And the registration for this competition is free of cost. You don't have to pay anything. Only, we are also conducting some crash courses, like for those people who don't have the knowledge, but they have that willpower that, if they get the basic knowledge, they can actually go on to, nail this challenge. So for them, we are conducting crash courses, which are like, have a nominal charge, but you don't really have to opt for it. It's optional. You can just go for the challenge and participate. And if you qualify the prelims round, the second round would be the abstract submission, where you have to actually give solution to an existing problem in the industry in the category which you're participating in. And then if that idea is selected, you will get a span of 1 month or something like that to work on that idea and get as close to it as much as possible, either through simulations or hardwares, whichever way you like the most. And after that, you will present that, in form of a 5 minutes video and submit to us. That is the, we have called it as a YouTube round. So in this 5 minutes, you will explain your progress and the idea. And if you get selected in that, then you reach the grand finale, where actually all these judges will come and give their insights on your project.
Gotcha. So again, guys, if this when it will come out, as you're watching this episode right now, make sure to go and apply for that. Of course, as Shivam said himself, you're going to find that on the website available. And look, I wish you a lot of success with that, 2025 goals for Spaceonova. But as we talked about collaborations, we need people, companies, work and continue to expand that way. That's a really great way, especially now in the space industry, where the industry is, to make those collaborations. And what type of people would you be looking forward to work as part, inside the Spaceonova? So, like, can you talk about the open positions for volunteers, internships, and things like that?
Yeah, so when it comes to Spaceonova, like we are looking out for people who holds expertise in fields like astronomy and astrophysics, astrobiology, rockets, satellites, and other interdisciplinary fields. But these are like the main focus which we have. And this is about the technical side. Even in, suppose if you're not from the space background, but you're very good at operations, you're very good at automation, you're most welcome to the organization, because it really adds an value to us. And I would also tell you that we are a group of very young people. Like the head of the department in our astrobiology part, he's just 23 years old. And it's a select group of young people actually leading this organization. So what I believe is that if you feel that you have that credibility, you have that potential, do come and apply for it, and we would definitely welcome you, because it's not your age which really matters. What matters is what sort of vision you have, and are you ready to go that extra mile to contribute. And when it comes to Spaceonova, like most of our team are like all across India and the world. So it's not that you have to think about whether you can work from US with us or not. We are already having people who are in US, who are in Mexico and stuff like that, and they're collaborating with us, and they're part of our team. So it's like, as we are building the online platform first and the community, we are making Spaceonova in a certain way, as I mentioned earlier, that it will be combination of both online and offline services, right? So no matter who you are and where you are, you can still be the part of the Spaceonova. And the type of people which we really look for are who have the right values. So if you go to our website, in the about section, there are 4 fundamental values which we have mentioned, that is love, transformation, cosmic, and innovation, right? And we have explained it very well, what do they mean. And if you feel that you are able to relate with us, you are able to relate with our values, and you can contribute, you're most welcome for that, right? And talking about the technical aspect, like how much technical expertise you need to have, so that totally depends upon what sort of position you're applying for. So suppose if you are good at communicating stuff, but you're more into like reading research papers and stuff like that, but you're not that much interested in publication and going in that depth, you can definitely join our psychom department and stuff like that. But if suppose you are very much interested in teaching, you can join our department as an educator, and you can apply for that. If you're interested in research publications and stuff like that, even then you can apply. And if you're interested in innovating something of your own and you want Spaceonova to support that, we can definitely do that thing also. Obviously, we might not be able to support you monetary if it is a too big of something for us to provide the capital for, but we can definitely help you with the network, the resources which we have, and the guidance and support which we have, right?
That is really cool. That is really cool. So while you continuing to build this, national development in the space industry, and just for the fact for the people, India has been established for a long time in the space industry. I mean, once NASA was created not long ago, like ISRO has been created, so like India has been in the space industry for a very long time, and they're working with a lot of great projects. I talk with a lot of great people from India. They're working on a lot of great, amazing projects, just like yourself. And again, I see a lot of young generation, which I think is a good time for the young generation so we can see those new faces that we don't recognize them. Who's that person? But we see the projects and things that they do. So this is really great. So the question for you, looking further in advance, beyond 2025, personal, your own kind of journey, right? So I know you're still a young guy, but look, regardless, what do you think, again, with Spaceonova and just the work that you're doing, what do you think would be, as people call it, the legacy? What do you think is going to look like 20 or 30 years from now?
Yeah, so like I have already planned for the next 10 years, so I will just mention that. So for I know it looks crazy when I put it in front of the people, but in the first 5 years, as I mentioned, right, we are focusing on three levels. That is awareness, creating the awareness of all the fields of space sciences among people. Second is building the community where exchange of ideas and innovation can take place, and third is enabling them for the career. And by end of this 5 year, we feel that we would be able to reach out to all these people. We would be able to complete spreading the awareness, creating the community, and having those set of services which can help them in taking their first step. We'll be having a concrete set of that. After 5 years, what we would be actually looking upon is now, because we are able to do all that, we are able to provide those resources. You can then after 5 years divide us into two parts. One would be we will be having various training centers in a manner where we can incubate other space companies which might come in for various parts. So suppose you come and say, "Hey, Shivam, I really want to build a launch vehicle company. And I have a knowledge, I have a great passion, but I don't know how to network with people. I don't know what is required in terms of operations. I do have knowledge myself, but I don't have a great team. So at this space, at this platform, we would try to enable you to create that impact. So I already mentioned that learn, create, innovate, impact. These are the four things, right? Just increase its intensity to another level. So currently we were focusing on fulfilling these things through teaching. After 5 years, we would be focusing on the impact part the most, how to help and empower others to create their own impact, how they can form their own organization, they can form their own community, they can, make their own ideas a reality in the field of space sciences. That is something which we'll focus upon more. And another part would be, now many people might say that, you guys have so much knowledge, you can teach, you have such a great team. Why not to take some initiative yourself, right? So if we really have that much knowledge, if we really have that much resources, there will be certain problems in the industry which Spaceonova will try to solve themselves. So as I already mentioned, currently we are an education and research company, but in future we'll also focus upon the exploration part, where we ourselves would be taking up some problems and trying to build products and solutions for that. So after this first 5 years where we are helping in creating the awareness and educating people about that, the next 5 years would be helping others realize their dreams and to be able to create that impact. And we would also like focus upon some of the problems in the industry. And that's how the next 5 years will go on. And not just that, like, you know, the Space Nova itself is again part of a bigger vision which I have. And that's like building an educational hub. Again, the same thing, learn, create, innovate, and impact. But the space science was like one field which I'm trying to focus upon. This would be like, accommodating, no, having just extrapolating whatever the methodology which I've created in the space science to all the other fields, so that no matter who you literally are and of what age you are, no matter whether you need an infrastructure to get like into a college or something, or whether you just want to be at home, and create a network of people, of human beings, in a manner that you would be able to find the things where your life finds an expression, and like you will be doing things where your life finds an expression. You will be able to paint the blank canvas of your own life. And I want to create it in such a manner that even if any person who might be a criminal, right, and if we bring that person to our educational hub, that person would be able to find the way to express himself or herself and find expression of their life, and in a practical approach, so that they can actually pursue a career out of it, and they can actually make their living out of it. It shouldn't be like, okay, I love painting, but I cannot really earn from it, right? So that have been always a focus, right, to empower people, but in a manner that they can actually live, right? Because that is important. You need a roof over you, you need to eat, right?
Yeah.
So you could say the next 5 years after 2025 would be this. If I try to summarize, it would be like a platform where anyone can create anything, anyone can work on the ideas which they have, the solutions which they have. We are already doing that in small scales right now. So for example, if you take up this challenge itself, so, and through this challenge we are currently enabling people to think in the direction, to think about the problem. So this challenge is not just because, hey, if you are good at this field, come and join. It has been very intelligently designed in a manner where we are actually asking people to identify the problems in the industry themselves and try to propose a solution for that. So usually the challenges have certain themes, and they will themselves provide a problem and people think about it, which is a great way, which is really important. But here what we're trying to do is making our community solution oriented in the given industry, right? So if you take, you might be aware of various hackathons which are organized for people from computer science background, from IT background, right? They have a lot of hackathons. And if you would have participated in any, you would have recognized that you learned a lot by participating in those 3 to 4 days hackathon.
Yep.
So kind of taking an inspiration from that, we designed this challenge in a certain way that currently, in India, people have great knowledge, but they sometimes feel that, okay, rocket science would be very difficult. Dealing with satellites could be very difficult. It's not for me. Maybe I'm not fit enough to that. So through this challenge, we are actually asking them to think about it and to create that ecosystem where thinking about the problems becomes normalized. And once they start thinking about the problems, obviously there would be some people who would start pursuing it, and then the inspiration continues. So this 5 years, each of stuff which we do, this is always focused on this four stuff: learn, create, innovate, and impact. Only the way to do that and the intensity to do that and various ways changes. And yeah, let's see, if everything goes well, we would be able to achieve our dreams.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will, just because, again, with the sheer volume of enthusiasm, again, we already have a quite big team of people that working with you. You have a lot of volunteers. You have already, again, services that you have available for the people. So it seems like you already have some momentum going towards with the company, and I'm pretty sure you're going to continue to build it that way. And of course, if I can personally help that, with this podcast, to spread awareness about what you guys are working on, because this is really important. As I said, instead of going on social media and liking the post, commenting, oh my God, this is beautiful, congratulations, we should be part of that change and create that change, as a saying, to continue to innovate and inspire people. So, this is what you do is really important. And for me, it's always a pleasure to talk with the people like yourself. So look, guys, a message for you, guys and girls. You're going to find the link included with the website and with the careers and volunteer option. Again, if you want to be part of the events and get a taste of what, what Shivam and his organization is working on, make sure to go and do that. And look, just go and connect with this man, because he's available. Again, we connected to LinkedIn, and you're going to find a lot of social media of his included in the show notes too. So, connect with him, ask him questions about the organization, make the conversation go and make it happen. Maybe you're going to find some potential alignment for collaborations and things like that. I'm pretty sure Shivam would be open for those conversations too.
Definitely. Like, I love people when they approach me. Obviously, sometimes it becomes hard to reply to everyone at once, but I definitely get back whenever it is possible. And one thing which I really love to know about the people is why. Instead of what and how, I always focus on why and why they are doing this and what is the reason behind that. Because when the situation becomes hard, only that why is something which is going to drive you the most, right? And when people come and they say they're interested in this, and if we are able to make even a small impact in their lives, it inspires us a lot. And all the educators, so I would tell you the name which we have given to our department, which I personally lead, it is called as Department of Change Makers. So we haven't, named them something like some technical or some formal like Department of, liquid propulsion or something like that. We have just called as Department of Change Makers as the main department. Under that, we have this Department of Astronomy, Astrobiology, and something like that. And each of our departments have a vision, right? So we do have a company's vision, but for the people in the department who are working, for them to be really aligned to that vision and to know what they should be doing and not just some random ideas which they are trying to execute, each department has their own vision. So if you talk about astrobiology, their vision is to understand life through a cosmic perspective. Even our marketing team's vision, their vision is to inspire people through their value driven marketing approach, right? And stuff like that. So each and every department will have their own vision, so that what they could relate to the most and which will drive them. And what we really focus upon is that usually people, they try to hide behind the logos and stuff, and we very much focus upon coming outside, because I'm like, here there, if you even do a mistake, if even people laugh upon you, you don't really have to worry about that, because you're already creating an impact. Use this as a tool to talk to people. Yeah. And what we try to do is, even in our educators, we try to build their personal brands. We try to help them in using the LinkedIn platform to actually write the content. I'm like, okay, you are going to come and teach through our masterclass and training programs, but you also have to write content on LinkedIn, not just for the sake of it, because that is how the people outside will come to know about you. They will know that, what exactly you're interested in, what is your knowledge. And sometimes it might happen that you might write something wrong and people will correct you, and this will help you grow. Yeah. So to do that, that is very much important. And we try to train them. And that has been our approach, not just like with the team, but even in our services. If you look at our foundational values, I'll just try to explain each and every values of ours. We infuse it in each and every action which we take, either our services or interacting with the team members, or if we are trying to write an email. So that is our main USP. So the love, which we say love, it really, by one line, if I try to explain, it means that you need to be sensitive to each and everybody. And, you need to, no matter like who the person is, either your teammate, client, services, you should be able to adopt them. You should be able to be sensitive and love them and be happy about them. Transformation is basically, no matter whether they are your students, they are your teammates, clients, whoever they are, you should try to bring the best out of them, because growth is very much necessary. I say this to my teammates, that the day you feel that you're not growing at my organization, leave this organization. This is not the right place for you. Because if you're not growing, and this is really not the right place, right? And if suppose you have a way through which you can grow better, definitely tell this to us, and we will definitely work upon it. So we very much focus upon growth of each and every individual of us. I'm like, anyone can give you money, right? Anyone can pay you salaries and stuff. But, when it comes to growth, to actually grow as a leader, to become more empowered, that is what we try to give you guys and try to add the value addition. So that is the transformation part. Third is cosmic. Cosmic has two aspects. One means that we need to realize both scientifically and philosophically that we are the manifestation of the cosmos, right? And the moment you try to come out of this identity that I'm just Shivam, I'm just Indian, or I'm just from planet Earth, but you understand that you are an extension of this cosmos, you're part of this cosmos, and you're a way for the cosmos to know itself, to explore itself, to express yourself. Your identity becomes cosmic, and the moment you guys do that, now there is no more definition of community. You will adopt anybody, your heart will start beating for anybody, right? So having that cosmic identity, and being kind of like mysterious, being your own unique self, and expressing that out to do your works in the given constraints, or in whatever the situation you are in, that is very much important. And innovation means into the new vision, literally, right? So it is like innovation plus a new vision, right? So there we try to find out various to deliver certain stuff, to do certain things, try to connect the seemingly unconnected stuff. So these are our four foundational values, and we try to infuse it in each and everything. And out of these values itself, the practical and psychological outcome, which I mentioned to you, it came out. So this practical and psychological outcome, I did not write it like, okay, just one day I will write something good for people to talk about.
Yeah.
But these are our foundational values. Through these foundational values, these are the practical and psychological outcomes which came out of it. And through these outcomes, we defined our vision. So it's not the other way around. That through the vision, we wrote something, something, something just for the sake of filling up the website. But it is through our values, these things came out. So it's like more than a certain organization, vision or the values behind the organization. It's like organization is a tool to fulfill this vision, to fulfill this values, right? So you can have several organizations to fulfill the same value, right? Then when we really focus upon the values and stuff like that, then the competition, it erases. And that then you are very open to collaboration, because people sometimes they don't collaborate because they have certain stuff in their mind that we identify ourselves to this particular company. I'm like, if tomorrow Spaceonova is not there and still I'm having a way to fulfill my values and to my dreams, I would still be happy, and I would still be ready to help others, right? So that's something which is very important. That's why in the next 5 years plan of ours, we are actually focusing upon giving out all our guidance and resources to enable others to realize their dreams, instead of what we say, okay, so what will happen if suppose we will help them and if they become bigger than us. Man, that's exactly what we want to do, right? We cannot do everything ourselves, right? So we want them to help. If they become better than us, that's great. That's actually great.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's all about, again, inspiring people. And I think what you're doing is so great. And I have so many notes here, for myself also. And it is what it is you talking about the why. A note for the people, the ones who don't have the why yet, or maybe don't know how to go about in the space industry, make sure to get in contact, with Shivam himself, and ask him questions about how you can be part of it, and maybe he will give you the why and the reasons, and give you some guiding, because he's a great human being, and he has already great people working with him on very important tasks. Again, it comes to educating the public and giving them access and tools on how to do things, because some people they already have the why, so now they lack the tools on how to do it, right? So I think what you do is super, super great. So again, guys and girls, thank you so much for watching this episode. Again, for you, it's even bigger thank you for coming over today. And I really enjoyed the conversation. I mean, like, honestly, because what you do is so great. And I don't believe there's enough people who do what you do. And we need so many more people. As you're saying, it doesn't matter if somebody else who will carry the flag, or, there will be something new, better. That's great, because you're part of this industry. And I think part of this industry, of course, competition, business is business, competition, making sales happen. That's how people have to survive. But there's always this bigger vision, which is, taking people places, and then cosmos, or bringing cosmos here to the daily people. So it's awesome. Again, I appreciate you.
Definitely. And as you even mentioned about, yeah, that's the reality, that you will have to make sales to survive. Otherwise, if you don't have that money, if you don't have that oxygen to run your business, then even if you have the vision, sadly you won't be able to go far. And for that, what people, when they ask me, then Shivam, what should we focus upon? Should we focus upon money, or should we focus upon vision? What should we exactly do? I say that your focus should be on the purpose. It should be on the purpose, and that purpose should be very much deep rooted in all the business strategies which you're making. So do think about the money, do think about how you can increase your sales, do have a brainstorm over that, but each and everything should be deeply rooted to your purpose. And that's why if you go through our website on the about section, we mentioned that our USP is not our service, is not what we do. Our USP is that these are our foundational values, and we infuse it in each and every action of yours. So even if I'm talking about money all day, even if I'm focusing upon that, it would be deeply rooted in my values.
Yeah.
And that's why we try to find out even people who can relate to these values. And if they're not able to relate to that, if they're not able to adopt that, we don't say anything to them, because they themselves won't like us then, because they won't be able to survive.
Yeah.
Because each and every person would be deeply, doing this thing, whatever they do, by taking these values inside them. And if they're not having these values, frictions will come.
Yeah.
Frictions will definitely come, and they themselves won't like the place, right? So that's why openly I have mentioned the values, that even if you want to, copy the, people say that Shivam, that organization is copying your services, they're doing this. I'm like, let them do. That's exactly what I want. Let them do that their own way. But our values is the USP, right? The way we do it, that will always be unique, because that's our values, right? And if they're able to adopt the values, I would be happy, because they're able to create that impact, right? So instead of focusing upon what other organizations do, or something like that, you need to be aware of it, but you need to always focus on the impact which you want to create, and then treat rest everything else just as tools, right? All the financial, all the business strategies and operations, treated as tools, and you will be able to excel in that. Don't have any favorism towards any one thing or stuff like that. So even, when we talk about Spaceonova, we have a hybrid nature. We have services which are paid, and we have a lot of services which are free of cost, right? So it's a hybrid nature. We try to always, give back in whatever ways possible.
Yeah. So that's why it's so important as you're talking about the values, because again, you're in this industry as a marathon runner. You're not a sprinter who's just looking to make a few dollars and then take a vacation on the beach. So you're here because of the science, because of the mission, because of legacy. As we go talking about the years, 20 years, 30 years, in the future. This is what it is. Of course, there's always going to be those people who just come in here and they create some products because they want to make those sales, and want to of course impact people at the same time, but it's all about sales for them. And it depends on a business to business cases. If you have a product, look, if you're Apple, you can have the greatest product, but if you don't make any sales, you're not gonna spread the message and impact the industry in that way. So we need to make the sales at the same time, because this is how the business operates. But the mission and the values is not about that, right? It's about communicating and inspiring people, because you understand that through that collaboration, through the numbers, which has been proved many times before in history, through the numbers, people can rise and do great things. So it's all about that. So again, awesome. So again, guys, make sure to get in contact with Shivam again in social media. He's available. Give him some proposals, ideas, thoughts. You want to work with him, you're going to find the link that you can be part of the careers, volunteer with him as well. If you feel like the values align with him and his company, which I think it would. So again, Shivam, for you, thank you so much for coming over today. And as always, guys, I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for inviting. I really love this session.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so I'll talk to you very soon, and take care. Until next time. Thank you.